Hi everybody, welcome back to Stumpy Grump's Scale Speed Shop. I got an update on the USACC 1969 Chevy Camaro Z28 from Revell. Unfortunately, I made a little bit of progress, but it's going to have to go back in the box and get pushed back until the end of December, beginning of January, when I can get more parts. Initial test fit tells me that what I went with as far as an engine and the wheels and tires, because I got wide rear wheels from Jay's. I didn't really realize it or pay attention to it, but I bought the wide rears and they're pretty wide. So let me show you what I'm talking about, show you a little bit of the progress that I've made. And unfortunately, it's going to have to go back in the box until the end of December, beginning of January, when I can get more parts that will actually fit in this thing without too much surgery. Because you're always going to have surgery involved when you do aftermarket wheels and tires and an aftermarket engine. But these are going to require a little bit more surgery than I want to get involved in right now. I could do it, but I don't necessarily want to. So let me show you what's going on. All right, so let me show you what's going on real quick. I got it together right now, and I'll be able to show you what I mean with the wheels and tires. Wide rears and tires. These are pretty wide, pretty impressive. They're pretty wide. I like the design, but when they go up under there, they just don't, it's just not going to fit at all, you know, realistically. And I want it up into the fender well there. So it's certainly going to rub. I could make it fit by grinding away inside the frame rail here and maybe just a snick on the inner fender well of the quarter panel. I could make it fit. You see? But I don't necessarily want to. Okay, I don't want to grind into that frame rail there, so I gotta buy a little bit skinnier tire. I'm gonna end up buying the same wheel and tire combo that I put on the black Camaro. I know those fit. So that's the wheel and tire issue. The engine, it's got to be like a 1/24th scale engine, and this is a 1/25th scale car. Sometimes you can't tell the difference, but when I set it down in there, it's considerably bigger than the kit engine for sure. I mean, it is a 572 and it's a big block, but I mean, it's considerably bigger when you measure it up. And then you add the transmission to it, and it's going to run up too far up into the front here, and I'm going to have to grind down a lot of this, and it still probably won't fit. Okay, so that's where I'm at. I've already put it away. I've got it in another kit. I just did that. I probably should have kept it out to kind of show you, compare sizes, but it's a big engine. It's a very nicely printed engine for sure. Very impressed with the quality of the print. A little stiff taking it off the supports, but all being said, a pretty impressive engine. I really like it. Now find another kit for it. I already did. So I just put it in that box. That won't be for a little bit yet. So you won't be seeing the results of that one for a while. But now let's go to some other progress that I've made on the Camaro. I deepened the panel lines. I sanded off the door handles and all the Camaro script, all the badging there on both sides, the front and the back. No door handles. I'll probably keep them shaved. I don't think I'll put door handles on this one. But I might change my mind in a month or month and a half before I get it back out. As you can see, I did cut the trunk open. And I've got my hinges on here. I did it a little bit differently. I followed a tutorial by Model Car Muse with Doug White. Excellent tutorial. I'll leave a link in the description for that one. I did it a little bit differently, and it looks like it's going to work pretty good. So that's what I've got. And let me pop the chassis and interior out so I can show you a little bit better. I did line measure and cut some thin sheet styrene once again for the trunk floor and contoured it with the chassis. I still might actually use, I've got a bunch of these koala cloths. I might actually outline it and cut that and make that the trunk. Who knows? I won't be doing that until I get it back out too. So this is just the crude, at the moment, trunk floor here. Nothing done to the interior. And to the trunk, once again, cut it out up underneath here. Really fairly easy to do. Okay, then I have a long tube and my brass rod. Okay, I use 3/32 inch styrene tubing for this and 3/64, I want to say, inch brass rod. And I just followed the tutorial, the video tutorial guidelines on how to make the bends on these. Still not very good, not the best rounded bend or anything like that for it, but it works, looks pretty good. I did glue the spoiler on after I cut the trunk out. I would suggest gluing the spoiler on before you completely cut the trunk out. Make sure you cut the back part out first and leave this part so that it still has something stable, and then try to glue it on. It's a little tough gluing it on the way I did it, but it worked. And then the same way with these little tubes here for your hinges. Do that maybe before you completely cut the trunk out. But the way I did it did work. Follow his tutorial more than how I did it, and you'll be in good shape. Slip everything on, and there it is. Looks pretty good. It'll close down better. I gotta bend it just a little bit more there to get it to close better, but looks pretty good. Ready for primer and paint. But once again, all that's going to wait until I get it back out. After I got to get another engine. I'll probably get that one from Iceman Collections this time. I might go with the same engine I did for the black car. I don't know. Don't want it to be identical except for the color, but yeah, you go with what works sometimes. And the wheels and tires, obviously. I gotta get wheels and tires and a different engine for it. We'll see at the time what engine I decide to go with. You guys will know, and you'll see it with my next update, but that won't be till probably January, unfortunately. So as quickly as I get started on it, I hit a couple of snags, and I'm gonna have to wait because I can't buy any more parts until the end of December, beginning of January. So that's why it's gonna wait that long. Anyways, I do have another build lined up to take this one's place, not for the USACC build off, obviously, but coming up, I already decided on what my next kit's gonna be, my next project. And what's today? Today is Wednesday the 19th, so probably Friday the 21st, I'll have an unboxing video on that one. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you in a couple days.